YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am back with another Total War Warhammer 2 online battle. This is going to be a follow-up to my last challenge battle. I have a battle to show you, and it's actually using this army, but I was challenged to use the dwarves with all cavalry. Okay, that's part troll. It's not entirely possible, but the dwarves do have some cavalry. It's actually gyrocopters. It's just not cavalry in the traditional sense that you would think of it, but it gives them mobility and air power all in one, and there's several versions of it. This is an army that I put together, and this one is meant to be annoying in the sense that you have unbreakable slayers that are fast moving. I've got forward deploy miners with blasting charges, which are just meant as a decoy. And then I've also got forward deploy or vanguard deploy rangers, and then Grombrindle, which is a very tanky dwarf lord who can also deal out quite a bit of damage. And then the gyrocopters with brimstone gun, their missile damage is highly armor piercing. They have a very limited range, and they don't have a ton of ammunition, but they've got enough to get some work done. Okay, so this army is all about hopefully splitting up an enemy, using the gyrocopters with brimstone guns to cause damage to key enemy units. Like so, for instance, if the enemy brings a dragon, you can split the gyrocopters, shoot the crap out of the dragon, support with the rangers. If they try and attack your rangers with cavalry, you get after them with slayers. You can bring giant slayers if the situation necessitates it, though you may have to change the price of your lord a little bit. Grombrindle has smoke bomb, which can just slow down an enemy and make them take more damage. It's a useful ability. So again, Grombrindle, definitely an interesting unit to bring. So this army, again, split up the enemy, do the damage to their expensive units, and then just outlast them with everything else that's left. I'll show you how I use that. Another army you can use for the dwarves, which is not a cav army, but it makes the dwarves aggressive. And aggression is usually the thing that's fun about a cavalry army. So you can go be very aggressive with it. So let's show you a little bit about how that type of build would work. You could get a rune lord. Or really, I mean, let's just go Grombrindle again. You can just go Grombrindle a second time. And we'll bring him with essentially the same abilities here. I don't think we need either one of these. I mean, the reason why I don't take stuff like this is just because Grombrindle spends so much time getting knocked around on his backside that stuff's not always worth it. And you can just spend money on more infantry. But I usually get miners with blasting charges, Norgrimling's Iron Breakers. You get a fair number of rangers, and you can really start taking it further from here on however you want to handle it. You can throw in some slayers for a fast moving element, or if you really just want to go all in on the vanguard deploy, you can do even more vanguard units. You could get like even a couple of rangers with great weapons, throw in some more miners with blasting charges. I mean, you can really get up in the enemy's face here, and I mean bad. And at this point, you could always do something too, like throwing in a goblobber and a cannon. And now these can sit back, and if the enemy wants to go kill them, they're going to have to bypass all these other forces with some units that are doing some damage. But this is an example of how you can be extremely aggressive with the dwarves by deploying right up in someone's face and really throwing them off guard. So I think that it's a good way to try and catch an enemy off guard. Again, be on the aggressive rather than the defensive. We're going to save this one. This is going to be my Dwarf Vanguard. I've used this one before. Let's go see how these armies work out in battle. I will see you there. Actually, let's see how these armies work out. I've only got time to use one army tonight. One army. You can go try the other one for yourself. Tell me about the results. In fact, if you all want to go try it, send me some replays of you using the Dwarf Vanguard army. I'm going to slow down on this one and kind of show you my deployment. I put my 4 gyrocopters in the center. Why? Because Tomb Kings can't fight them. So I don't have anything for them to fight in the center. My forward deploy units, I've got 2 miners with charges and 2 rangers on either flank. They're spread very far apart, which is risky, but also kind of fun. And then, yeah, my slayers are back behind those units because they can't forward deploy, and then Grombrindle is just over here supporting one flank. So the goal here was to try and split my opponent's attention. We'll see how it reacts to it. His army consists of a mix of skeleton warriors and tomb guard. He's even got these Blessed Legion of Ptah back here, and then he's got the Chosen of the Gods, a Lich Priest, Lore of Nehekara. He has Khalida on a Necroserpent in the back. He's got a couple of Skeleton Chariots, which is a solid pick, a couple of Skeleton Horse Archers, which I don't think is a bad pick per se. You definitely want to have protection against Gyrocopters, and he does because he's got an Armor Sundering Archer here, and he's also got the Chosen of the Gods, and then these 2 Horse Archers. So he has potential tools to deal with my Air Force. He's even got a couple of Scorpions, which are great anti-armor, anti-infantry. So my opponent's army is actually a little bit frightening to me when I see it. It's going to be a matter of how well he can use it, and I'm going to try and knock him off balance so that he can't use it well. I'm going to see that I'm going to get aggressive early, and then I'm going to realize, yeah, I really don't want to be up in the face of these Armor Sundering Archers, and so I decide to pull out of there. And I'm going to try and juke away from some of these arrows. This Chosen of the Gods, nasty pieces of work. I'm going to get this this contingent in range over here and start firing, though honestly I probably should have been pulling back until my other flank was ready to pincer and help. So dwarves are slow. Even the fastest among them are quite slow. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my Gyrocopters way around, try and stay out of the range of all of his archers. Again, the bad thing is, though, is that I'm willing to take an engagement over here that I really shouldn't be willing to take, but it's too late at this point. I'm going to have to take it. I can't get away from it. I should have started running sooner, but, you know, with his Horse Archers, he can harass me, so it's like, all right, you know what, let's fight. And oddly enough, I don't know if he misclicked or what here, but his Lich Priest, Lore of Nehekara, comes floating through the lines and gets caught, and he is going to get wrecked by Slayers and by Grombrindle. He's going to die in a huge hurry. See how quickly Grombrindle can put the beat down on a unit that doesn't get knocked around. And then the Slayers help do it too. Over here, he's going to charge in, and you can see that up against just Skeleton Warriors, obviously we're going to do a ton of damage, but he shielded his Tomb Guard quite well there. And this flank is honestly in huge trouble. Huge trouble. May not look so bad yet, but here's the real reason why. His Chariots and Khalida are making their way towards this flank along with the 2 Scorpions. So these Dawe over here are doomed. Doomed. Meanwhile, I'm going to get my Gyrocopters back here into action. I've brought my flank up so I can get rid of this Blessed Legion. And then I'm going to use my Gyrocopters to fly right up over the top of these Ushabti. And we're going to take out a very critical unit here, which is a high-cost unit. And I'm going to really focus it down. You can see the first level of healings coming through here because of the damage that we're causing. And these Ushabti, Chosen of the Gods, are going to get beat down pretty badly. This armor-piercing damage at point-blank range, the Gyrocopters are going to cause substantial damage. My Slayers are fast enough to catch his archers as well. And then this Tomb Guard actually gets surrounded by the charge of my Slayers. Not typically a good engagement for Slayers up against Tomb Guard, but they'll do okay. They'll actually do okay in that particular engagement. Over here you can see I've got another Skeleton Warrior. This is a Tomb Guard. The only reason I beat it was because Grombrindle was there, but again, as expected, this flank gets totally leveled by Chariots and Khalida, and I'm going to lose both of my Rangers as well as my Miners with blasting charges to minimal effect over here. So that's unfortunate for me. He does summon a Ushabti. I just got finished with the Chosen of the Gods, and I suppose I'll go ahead and take care of this one. I can't let my Rangers die this easily. It's a good summon by him to stay after these units, but the rest of his army is too far away to keep me from really ganging up on these Ushabti, so perhaps a bit premature here, because these units are going to come up against some stiff resistance almost immediately before they can cause too terribly much damage to my Rangers. They're going to try, though. They're going to follow, and they are still going to do some damage. Look at this guy. He just plowed right on through there. Don't give a crap. I'm going to knock my Dawe around everywhere. So he's still going to cause a pretty tremendous amount of damage. Already has 17 kills. And then Grombrindle and these Slayers are going to escape away from this wrecking over here. I'm going to go ahead and abandon these Slayers out here too. They'll do a little bit of damage. But I want to get Grombrindle back over here to where there's some more infantry to help support him. This unit of Ushabti down, so the Gyrocopters have taken out 2 units of Ushabti. It's not great, but again, you can see that at last my army kind of has finally accomplished what it was intended. You can see when these units all got chased off, it split my opponent's forces. And now I'm able to kind of gang up and do what I need to. Khalida here wanders over feeling very confident against Grombrindle, and she did put a big hit on him, but then she realized that she is just Gyrocopter bait. And after 2 Ushabti, these guys have already knocked out about 1900 worth of units. And with Khalida here, that's going to jump up to at least double that. So my Gyrocopters will have paid for themselves because they just melt Khalida. When you have a big target like Khalida, who doesn't necessarily have a ton of hit points, and she's hard to miss, those Gyrocopters get up there with armor-piercing damage. Yeah, it is going to spell destruction very, very quickly here. We're going to chase this Scorpion with the Slayers. Just anything we can do to try and put some anti-large damage on this guy. He's going to intercept with his Tomb Guard. Very well done. That's exactly what he should do. But he still has to deal with Grombrindle, which is not going to be easy. He does have his Chariots. The Chariots are lightly armored, fortunately for me. If these were heavy Chariots from like Chaos or something, I would be in huge trouble. But the lightly armored Chariots of the Tomb Kings do take a lot of damage to Rangers and other such units. And then over here, I'm going to bring in the Gyrocopters. They've now killed Khalida, and my goal is going to be to start putting down as much damage as I can on this Tomb Scorpion. I'm making a bit of a mistake here by firing from range. You'll see that I move up a little closer. Get close. Fire at a range where you won't miss. Make your shots count, because you only have so much ammo. But if I can take out a Tomb Scorpion, then my Gyrocopters have well more than paid for each other. And then at that point, it's just going to be up to Grombrindle to make up his cost, which he has done pretty well so far because he can tank so much Tomb King infantry. These chariot charges are going to hurt, though. Look at him like herding him along here. Oh, poor Dwarfs. They just don't have a good answer to chariots. They just get plowed around. But man, when he does land a hit, he's going to land a hit. See the Scorpion starting to take damage. Yeah, the strategy is not been brilliant here, but my opponent, having let Khalida get too close to these Gyrocopters, hugely worked in my favor because it's going to take a hit on his leadership. It's going to make things challenging for him. He has to try and kill Grombrindle at this point, and Grombrindle's just not dying quickly. And I've even put the Flash Bomb out here, which makes his units more vulnerable to attack. Again, the Scorpion's dying rather quickly now, so it's going to be in big trouble for him. And we'll just kind of move out here again. You can see some of my units regrouping. Some of the units that regrouped over here being brought back into combat. I think we're going to get a satchel charge here. Yeah. So we'll get a little bit of damage done to these chariots. They'll take me out, though. He's done well with his chariots, constantly harassing my skirmishers and regrouping units. One of the Scorpions is now down. I'm going to dive bomb it to get rid of it. So that means we have one Scorpion left. Grombrindle with a little over half health, and my Gyrocopters can now participate in melee. They have decent weapon damage. They don't have very great... I mean, their attack's okay, and their charge is kind of meh. If they had a higher charge, they would actually be pretty gruesome in melee, I think. Yeah, look at this chariot here, 96 kills, picked up a chevron. It's going to kill some more of my Dawi here. Again, though, this is almost kind of worth it in some ways. His chariots aren't over here helping to work down Grombrindle. They're out chasing miners and other units that aren't of terrible concern to me. Here's going to be a good use of my Gyrocopters, too. His chariots probably can't stay away from my Gyrocopters. They can catch them, and their light armor means that they'll actually take pretty significant damage from the Gyrocopter, so I did lose one of my own chopters there. Poor Dawi. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Anyway, we chased off these chariots. They're going to go after my Rangers. It's like, so be it, whatever. I'm going to come back over here and help Grombrindle so he doesn't get too ganged up on. Once again, going to dive bomb chariots after I drop a few bombs here. I haven't used my bombs. Some people may have been screaming. What could have been done here was to try and use Grombrindle to create a blob early on and then bomb the blob. But that's also risky to get Grombrindle into that kind of trouble early, so you never know. But I do end up dive bombing the chariots here, and you can see the chariots in pretty big trouble. And then Grombrindle's in here trying to work the Scorpion. But there's only so much that's going to be done there. So the chariots are down, only one left. So Grombrindle's now left to just face a Scorpion and these chariots, so it's definitely been a Pyrrhic battle. But it just goes to show you that having the mobility advantage here, you can see how I was able to just kind of attack at will where I wanted on the units I wanted. And that hurt the Tomb Kings. It hurt them bad because it meant that Khalida was all of a sudden extremely vulnerable, whereas she wouldn't normally be terribly vulnerable to a dwarf army as long as she kept distance from like thunderers or something. But these Gyrocopters kind of changed the game, right? People think, oh, I'll take the chariots, the dwarves can't chase me. Yes, they can. If they bring the right units, yes, they can. And you're going to see that here. These chariots are going to get beat up on pretty bad by these Gyrocopters. So able to take him out, and then that leaves Grombrindle over here to face down his scorpion demons. He's going to get batted around pretty badly here by the scorpion. When he does get a hit in, he'll do well, but like I said, the scorpion's going to be knocking him around pretty bad. I do have some regroup units trying to burn the scorpion. And then I'm going to try and just pin the scorpion down as well at some point so that Grombrindle can attack it, but my opponent admits defeat. We did finally have him there. So there's the use of a dwarf army that's more mobile. You can also use the rush army. What I would suggest is you all go out and try the rush army that I built. See what you can do with it. Send me the replays, especially if you get one that's pretty entertaining. And tell yourself, I mean, there's different ways to play the dwarves, right? You don't have to do the artillery box. In fact, it's kind of fun to do this kind of thing every now and then because you will totally catch someone off guard with the way you're going to do things. If I had set up an artillery box, I would have had to try and keep that artillery box safe from the incursions of tomb scorpions who can easily get through your lines. I would have to keep it safe from skeleton archers circling around the back, skeleton chariots who, again, can easily plow through my lines, and then Khalida, who, again, can plow through the lines. I don't know what the Lich Priest brought. He actually got mismicroed here, but my opponent, you know, he did some pretty decent management of some of the other units. He got over 100 kills with both his chariots. It was not completely insignificant. His infantry actually did fairly well in some of the fights. But, you know, just me taking out the expensive Chosen of the Gods, taking out Khalida, taking out a Scorpion, taking out the Summoned Ushabti, it starts to add up. It starts to add up pretty significantly. So don't underestimate Gyrocopters is what I would say. There are 3 types of them. I'll do a little bit deeper study on the 2 Gyro Bomber units. I say there's 3 types. There's really, yeah, there is 3 types. I'll do a study on the Gyro Bomber unit a separate time. The other type of Gyrocopter, and you have to pick your Gyrocopters wisely, okay? Let's go into custom battle. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you're going to pick Gyrocopters, there's 2 varieties. One is 700, the other is 800. Their stats are identical except for their attack and just kind of the way that they're meant to be used. So if you look at the Gyrocopter with Brimstone Gun, it's flaming ammunition with 100 range that causes 99 missile damage, which is mostly armor piercing. You have 75 range that is 76 missile damage, 22 ammunition, so more ammunition. This is a steam gun, though. The steam gun is going to be very good against lightly armored units. So you bring it in close to them. So this is going to be low-tier infantry. So if you're expecting a lot of low-tier infantry or a lightly armored faction in general, aka Wood Elves, for instance, Wood Elves, Vampires, Tomb Kings, Skaven, all those factions that are going to bring mostly lightly armored units, that's where the Gyrocopter, the standard one, is. The Brimstone Gun is really an anti-large tool, right? An armor-piercing or anti-large, I would say definitely try and use it against large units. It even calls it out as anti-large. It doesn't actually have anti-large damage. None that I'm aware of here, right? There isn't actually any anti-large in the weapon strength. So it calls it anti-large. It's because it's most effective against those big targets that you can't miss. So that's the difference in the 2 regular Gyrocopters. I'll show you the Gyro Bomber another time. You might notice it has insane missile damage. What can this thing do? It calls it out as anti-infantry. Obviously, it's because of the bombs. We'll take a look at it, like I said, another time, and I'll give you all a little bit of an idea. That remember, they did add fire while moving to the Gyro Bomber. It's very expensive, though, and you got to be careful with it. So we'll show that again another time. If you all have any Gyro Bomber replays, again, feel free to send it. Hope you all enjoyed this one. Thank you to my opponent for the fun game. Hope you all enjoyed another challenge battle. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now. I will see you next time.